What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Robin's Nest again. I know it's been a little bit since we made one of these videos, but here it is. So I want to talk about a couple things real quick. In particular, the Ty Majeski penalty for going to vote. It sounds crazy when you say it out loud, but it's a real thing. So let's talk about it. So, for those who don't know and don't remember, Ty Majeski races in the Truck Series. For those who don't know, the NASCAR Truck Series, he was fined for going back to his home state. I think he's from Wisconsin, to vote on election day, rather than do a mail-in ballot or absentee ballot, whatever you want to call it. And so, when he went back to his home state to vote, that means that he missed one of NASCAR's arbitrary press conferences. And so they ended up fining him, I think something like 12 or 13 grand or 12 and a half grand, something like that. And he appealed it, and NASCAR upheld the penalty. Shocking. Of course they're going to. I mean, you can probably count on one hand the amount of times that they've overturned an appeal, or overturned a penalty on appeal, because they want that money. My opinion on that is this. So, someone told me that Eric Estep had said that he had signed a contract to be a part of the press conference and what have you, and that may be true. I don't know. I don't know all those particulars. I just know from face value, and from face value, I don't care what was signed. I don't, because you shouldn't be able to, as an employer, force people to not participate in democracy, I guess. It sounds cliche now because everyone says that so many times and it's just become a running joke at this point. Basically. I mean, it is true you want people to participate in democracy. But democracy's kind of lost its zing. It's been overused. The term has at this point. So, but I mean, you want people to be able to participate. I don't understand how, as an employer, which the thing about Ty in NASCAR is Ty is essentially a subcontractor. He works for ThorSport, but participates in NASCAR. It's weird how all that works out, but I mean, when you get to the nitty gritty of it, it makes sense. But it's an odd setup. But I just don't see how you can force someone to not participate. Or tell them, you can participate, but you need to vote this way because that's the way that we feel it should be done, because there's more important things. There's more important things than voting in a presidential election in America, apparently, per NASCAR. It's just nonsense. And I've had people tell me, well, NASCAR covered their bases. They did this, they did that. I'm of the belief, and I've been of this belief since Jim took over and appointed the Steves as his little henchmen. I know it's probably a step too far, but you know what I'm saying. I inherently fall on the side of whoever is going against NASCAR. And that may be wrong. That may be biased. Okay, I'm not denying any of that. Yeah, guilty as sin. I'm so mad at the way that they've run the business over the past few years. Brian did a pretty bad job. I think everyone can agree on that. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if behind closed doors, Brian still has some sort of pull. Jim behaves as though he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He just kind of got thrusted into the position against his will. And the Steves, they don't care about anything but money. They've made that blatantly clear. Steve O'Donnell and Steve Phelps, especially Steve Phelps, doesn't care about anything but money. So, anyways, when situations like this come up, I just inherently fall on the side of whoever's going against NASCAR. Same thing with Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. Yeah, I don't care about sticking ball sports all that much, so I've never really been a Michael Jordan fan. And I don't personally have anything against him. I don't think we agree on a lot of things, but as far as the lawsuit goes, I 100% agree with him and Denny. I did from the outset, but then the more that's come out, the more I do agree with him. So, yeah, I've met Denny before. I drove Denny around Talladega before, actually. And he's a nice enough guy, but, when NASCAR comes out and they're like, okay, well, you can participate, but in order to make X amount of money, you're going to have to sign this charter agreement. If you don't, then you're going to make significantly less amount of money. Okay? You may not like what's in this charter agreement, but we're going to hold your feet to the fire and force you to sign it, because if you don't, then you'll make a fraction of the income that you were making prior. That's not right. I'm sorry. And Tony Stewart was talking about Rick Hendrick. Rick Hendrick came out and said, well, we just ended up signing it because, it's their ballpark. We're going to play regardless, so what are we going to do? And so he just signed it. That's nonsense, because Rick Hendrick would not own over 100 car dealerships, have one of the most successful NASCAR teams of all time, if he just signed off on stuff to make it go away. No. He's getting significantly more money than probably anybody, well, I don't know, maybe not anybody else, but a lot of people. So he's getting his palms greased. And hey, I have no problem with that. That's business. That's business. If that's the way you want to play it, then play it. But you cannot get mad at other people for having an issue with that and wanting it to be leveled out. I see both sides of the fence, both sides of the ordeal, however you want to phrase it. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. The whole thing with Ty, it's just nonsense. Okay? You cannot fine a guy for going to vote instead of going to a stupid press conference. Like, this is NASCAR. They have press conferences all the time. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I would get lawyers involved. I doubt Ty will, especially since they won the championship and all that. They'll probably just pay it and make it go away and move on, which, again, I understand. I wouldn't go down that easily if it were me. But, I'm not in that position, so. And someone else told me that $12,500 or whatever for Ty's, like, pocket change. Do you realize how much money these guys make in the Truck Series? I mean, granted, they make more than someone working at McDonald's or whatever, but it's not some astronomical number like what it is in the Cup Series, or what it was in the Cup Series 15 years ago. All of it's depleted, all three of the series over the past few years, but in comparison to the Cup Series, it's small potatoes, for sure. Also, for anyone who's interested, fellow that won the Monte Carlo rally last year in WRC3, which WRC3, I've explained this before, but for those who don't know, WRC3 is the feeder series for WRC and WRC2. It's like a ladder system, basically, just like NASCAR with trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. And so the WRC3 is pretty much just for Fiestas. I think there's like one or two Opals that run, but for the most part, it's Fiestas. And then you go into WRC2, and that's like your Citroen and your Skoda and Ford and Hyundai. And then you go into WRC1, and those are the hosses. That's your Ford, Hyundai, and Toyota, and those things are stupid fast. But the fellow who won WRC3 Monte Carlo Rally last year just announced that he's going to make his WRC2 debut next year in a Citroen, which is cool, man, because the Citroen to me is one of the coolest looking rally cars. It's not Citroen was a factory program in WRC1, and then they backed out. And so now some WRC2 teams run. I think there's 2 or 3 that run, and I'm honestly not sure if they have any factory support. They may have some. If they do, it's not much. But hey, the more Citroens you can get out there and run it, that's awesome. I love it. Because like I said, it's a cool looking car. Not super successful when it was in WRC1. It was not reliable. It wasn't as nimble, you know. But a cool looking car nonetheless. So glad to see it. So we'll see what happens. I hope he does good. I would tell you his name, but I can't pronounce it, so I'm not even gonna try. I'm not. I'll put the link to the article in the description so you can see for yourself. But I'm not good with European names. Some of those different ones, you know. There's some European names that are not all that dissimilar from traditional American names, and those are fine. But some of those you get into like Finnish and stuff like that. I cannot for the life of me. I'm just a simple guy from Alabama/Georgia, so I gotta keep it simple. So, anyways, that's my take on a few things, and I don't know. I hope Ty fights it, and come of it what may. But we'll see. We'll see. If you found this interesting, don't forget like, subscribe, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our other videos. In the process of finishing up the 2004 Busch Series season, and then we're going to move on to something else, but I think we've got 3 of those videos uploaded already, so go back and check those out, and keep an eye out for future stuff coming up. If you're interested in auto parts, hats, t-shirts, die-cast cars, service manuals, old NASCAR Illustrated, any of that kind of stuff, we have a ton of it. And then we have eBay, Macari, all those different kinds of sites. So I'll put the links in the description. Check those out. If you see something you're interested in, shoot me an offer. I mean, nothing's set in stone. So most of the stuff I'm just trying to get rid of, man. We've had some of it for like 2-3 years, and so yeah, I just need it gone. Need room. Need to fill these shelves up behind me, but I need all that stuff off the shelf. So just let me know if you're interested in anything. And until next time, peace.